Welcome to another deep dive. You know, AI, it's everywhere these days. And today we're really going to dig into how AI is changing the way people work all over the world.
Yeah, it really is quite a big topic.
It is, it's a big one, but don't worry, we're going to break it down.
Yeah, we'll keep it nice and clear and simple. We've been looking at all sorts of information articles and reports about AI in the workplace, just to get a grasp on what's happening now and what might be coming down the road.
Exactly. So we want to sort of understand what are the good things AI brings to work? What are some of the problems that maybe it might cause? And what does it all mean, for you listening?
For you, exactly.
So let's start with the good stuff, I guess. How is AI actually making work better?
Well, one of the big ways is that AI can make work happen much faster. Uh, you know, think about making phones. There's this company, Xiaomi, and they have this factory. It's actually called a dark factory.
Dark factory, that sounds kind of ominous.
It does sound kind of spooky, but it just means that this factory can actually make phones all day and night without very many people there at all.
Wow.
The AI systems are controlling everything, and this means they can make a lot more phones quickly and with fewer mistakes.
So it's like having a super fast worker that never sleeps. But
Exactly.
it's not just in factories, right? Like, how does AI help people in different jobs?
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond factories. For instance, if you're a doctor, AI can look at huge amounts of information, medical records, test results, that kind of thing, to help doctors figure out what might be wrong with someone. AI can sometimes spot patterns and things that maybe a human doctor might miss.
That makes sense.
And even if you're doing something creative, say like you're an artist or a writer, AI can help you come up with new ideas.
Really?
It can actually kind of take away some of those harder or more boring parts of a job so that people can focus on the things they really enjoy, the more creative parts.
I guess that's what people talk about, right? Like, AI can handle the tasks that take a lot of time, that need you to look at tons and tons of information, and that sort of frees up people to use their brains for the more interesting stuff. But are there any downsides to all this AI at work? I mean, it sounds pretty great so far.
Well, there are some worries. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
One big worry is that AI might start doing jobs that people used to do. And this could be a problem in factories, in
Yeah.
offices. Basically, if an AI can do your job, well, you might not have a job anymore.
Right.
And that's a huge concern because people need jobs to make a living.
Right. To live. That makes sense. Are there other problems with using AI at work?
Yeah, another thing to think about is, well, AI can give us a lot of information. Sometimes it might be too much information, and that
Mhm.
can make people feel stressed out or confused.
Too much information. Yeah.
Right. And if people are always working with computers and not talking to other people as much, well, they might end up feeling a bit lonely, a bit isolated at work.
So it's not just about the jobs themselves changing, but it's also how we feel at work and, our connections with our coworkers. What does all this mean for the bigger picture? Like for the economy as a whole and making sure things are fair for everyone?
Yeah, that's really important. And AI could definitely change how much money people make and who has jobs.
Hmm.
Even people who are really good at their jobs, they might find that AI can do some of what they do, or maybe even all of it eventually.
Right.
So that means people might need to learn new skills so they can still find work in the future. And we also need to be really careful to think about how to use AI in a way that is good. Like, if an AI makes a mistake, well, who's responsible?
Right. Who gets in trouble? Yeah.
And how do we make sure that people's private information stays safe when we're using AI?
Hmm.
These are questions that we all need to figure out together.
Yeah, those are really important questions. I feel like we're just at the beginning of figuring all of this out. So, looking ahead, what's the main thing that you think we should all remember about AI and the future of work?
Well, AI has good sides and bad sides. It's not all good or all bad.
Mm.
It can help us do some really amazing things, but we need to be really careful about the problems it can cause, like people losing their jobs,
Hmm.
learning new things, using AI wisely, and making sure we have some rules about how we use it. Those are going to be so important.
So, it's exciting, but it's also, we've got to be thoughtful.
Absolutely.
So, really, thinking about how AI is changing work, it's important for all of us, whether we work in an office or a factory or really anywhere. I mean, what kind of new skills do you think people might need in the future because of AI?
Yeah, it's a big question.
It's a question to think about, maybe look into a little bit more on your own. But thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into AI and the future of work.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.